Well, here's somebody who's capitalizing on being transgender.
Oh, well, that's good.
This is happening in the country to our north.
Okay.
Canada.
Okay.
An Alberta man changes his gender on his government ID to get cheaper car insurance.
Nice. Good for him.
He wanted a brand new car, a Chevrolet Cruze with all the trimmings.
Okay.
As a man in his early 20s, he knew his insurance costs would be high. So he became a woman, though on paper only. I have taken advantage of the loophole, said the man, we're calling him Dave, who spoke on condition of his identity be kept confidential because of the potential repercussions.
Yeah. Fraud.
Dave, who lives in Alberta, said he identifies as a male, but his government-issued identification tells a different story.
Okay.
It started when the insurance company gave Dave a quote, roughly $4,500 a year if he bought the Chevy. That's that's a lot of money.
A lot of money. Jesus.
My car insurance for my brand new Camaro SS is about $1,200 a year.
Dude, that's like $300 a month, isn't it? $300-400 a month?
No,
not for your Camaro, for this guy.
Oh, for this guy, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
For one vehicle, he must have like 12 points.
And that's not even, a sports car or anything. It's a Chevy Cruze.
Oh, my God.
$4,500 a year for insurance?
He might want to check out Safe Auto or something. Jesus.
Wow. He had a collision and a ticket or two on his record, which helped boost the premium. Then he had an idea. He asked the insurer what his cost would be if he were a woman.
Yeah.
He was told his annual bill would shrink to roughly $3,400. That's $1,100 difference.
For having a vag?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was pretty angry about that, and I didn't feel like getting screwed over anymore, he said. So I asked them to change my gender on my auto policy, and she's like, we can't do that.
Why not?
According to the Insurance Bureau of Canada, men under 25 are generally at a higher risk of collision than women at the same age, which means their premiums are often higher. David, who was 23 at the time, says he learned he first had to change his gender on his birth certificate and driver's license before it would reflect on his insurance policy to get the cheaper rate.
Wow.
After doing some research, he realized he needed a doctor's note to show the government he identifies as a woman, even though he doesn't.
Right.
It was pretty simple, he said. I just basically asked for it and told them that I identify as a woman, or I like to identify as a woman, and he wrote me a letter that I wanted.
Good for this guy.
Under the rules in place at the time, Albertans need to produce a doctor's note to switch the gender marker on their personal documents. In June, the government scrapped the doctor's note requirement for adults, allowing them to declare their marker as male, female, or X for those who don't fit into the strictly male or female category.
X. Shut up.
David shipped the note and other paperwork off to the provincial government, and a few weeks later he received a new birth certificate in the mail indicating he was a woman. I was quite shocked, but I was also relieved, he said. I felt like I beat the system. I felt like I won.
Yeah, no shit. He fucking hit a lottery ticket there.
Yeah.
Good for him.
With the new birth certificate in hand, he changed his driver's license and insurance policy, all to save about $91 a month.
Good. I like hearing that this guy fucked the system.
Right.
With stupidity.
Right.
Good.
I'm a man, 100%. Legally, I'm a woman, he said. I did it for the cheaper insurance. And I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. David said he's aware that the methods he used to become a woman on paper are designed for Albertans who need to correct their gender marker. I'm so sick of this speak these days, gender marker.
Yeah.
On their identification to reflect that who they really are, but he says his target was the insurance industry, not the gender diverse community.
Yeah, look at him even still apologizing.
Yeah.
Just fucking admit it. You used their bullshit to fuck the system.
Yeah.
Good for you.
You took advantage of the loophole that was out there.
Yeah, good for him.
I didn't do it to point out how easy it is to change gender, as he said. I did it to criticize or ridicule transgender. I didn't do it to criticize or ridicule transgender or LGBT rights.
Mm-hmm.
According to the Insurance Bureau of Canada, gender is just one factor that insurers consider, along with the driver's age, the vehicle, and driving record and location. In 2011, the European Union's highest court ruled the insurance industry's long-standing practice of charging different rates for men and women constitutes discrimination. The European Court of Justice ordered the industry to remove gender considerations from auto, life, and medical insurance plans, among others. Steve Key, the spokesman for the Insurance Bureau of Canada, says he heard anecdotal reports of people changing their gender for cheaper insurance, though he doesn't know how often it happens. If you're going to declare on any document, you need to be truthful, he said. If not, you're making a fraudulent claim, just like Judge Aiken just said.
Mm-hmm.
This could impact you for any further insurance application that you make or any other aspect of your life.
But technically, he's legal.
Yeah.
He did change his. I mean, he played by the fucking queer rules.
Right.
So he didn't really do anything fraudulent, did he?
Well, no. Technically, no, he didn't.
Huh.
I think what they're talking about as far as being fraudulent is that he didn't really want to be a woman.
Yeah. Well, but that's they don't get to dictate that anymore.
True.
Since you've taken the ability to identify your gender out of the doctor's hands and put it into any fucking wacko's that has an idea's hand, well, then you got to live with that. You got to live with it. What'll end up happening is they'll just end up making across the board insurance is going to be one cost.
Right.
Which it should be in the first.
Well, which is what they just said that they did over in Europe.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they're going to have to do. But they're good for this guy to fucking take advantage of it for a while.
Yeah.
Hopefully till he turns 25 and doesn't have to fucking deal with it again. When you get the big break. Just crazy.
Yeah. So the guy said, you know what? Transgender, they said that they'll treat me as a woman. Okay, right. I'll just say I'm a woman.
Yeah, this world's just off the rails.
I don't know where and when all this started with this non-binary bullshit. It's like, when do you become an it?
And who wants to be an it?
Well, some people do.
I know. I don't understand that. I mean, and I guess, we're sounding more and more like we're old, but, in the day, you were horrified if you were not considered your gender. That was like a big insult. Remember, dude, when we were growing up, you were in high school or whatever, junior high, and somebody called you a woman, those are fighting words.
Well, I mean, it's even in the Bob Seger song, the Turn the Page. Is that a woman or a man?
Mm-hmm. And those are fighting words to people. In the old days, now it's like, oh, you can't tell that I'm doing my job well. It's just sickening. It's disgusting, man.
Well, I think this all boils down to, again, the social media generation of attention. Getting attention.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't identify as a woman today. Or I'm different than everybody, so treat me differently. Yeah. I'm non-binary, so I'm kind of like a special species.
Right.
So I'm kind of like a unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what it boils down to.
Have you accepted that this is the way it's going to be for the rest of our lives?
No, I'm not going to accept it.
You think it's going to go back?
I don't know. Well, again, this goes back to, the old cliche, but the pendulum will swing the other way.
I don't think so.
You don't think?
Name any other time where there was a major society, and if you can, good, because I've thought about this and I can't think of one. Name another time when a big societal movement happened and then it went backwards the other way.
Well, take the 60s, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you had all this free love and, all that stuff. Well, then it kind of straightened out and got a little more conservative into the 70s again.
With disease?
Well,
I'm talking about like the only relatable thing I can say to this fucking trans queer shit. I would say would be the 60s racial tolerance change. With the JFK and Alabama and Martin Luther King and all that stuff. And it never swung back. And I'm not saying it should swing back either, but what I'm saying is that once the change was made, it was made.
Right.
And that's it. And it never went back. And you're saying the sexual love, I would argue that's not true either. I would say it's as reckless as ever these days.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm just talking about like this public display.
Dude, it's as reckless as ever. It's as out there as ever. It's just it's just not straight people anymore. It's just, gay people.
Mm-hmm.
Is really what it is. But I would argue it's more prevalent than ever. How many stories have you read about fucking every goddamn sexual disease is on the rise?
Well, it is. That's absolutely true. But also that seems to correlate with the rise of drugs as well.
Sure. But it also is the rise of, as we've said before, a gay guy will stick his dick in anything. It's free love.
Yeah, but again, that's always been the plight of the gay community too.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've always had, that attitude about it.
Sure, and it's just more so because the gay thing is not as hidden anymore.
That is true.
So it's even more out of control than before. In my head. Dude, it's hard to say. I just think the genie's out the bottle, and you're never gonna see a time. Look, if ever there was a time that this political correct bullshit was gonna get beat back, the guy in the office right now is the guy that would make it happen. And even he dodges that bullet. He doesn't touch that bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna be the one to stand up for it if it ain't Trump? Do you see any other politician?
No, not at all.
And Trump's not doing it. Trump's just letting it happen. It's like, I got bigger things to worry about than that shit.
Right.
So, it's a bad time, man. I just think that this is it. I think it's, you're looking at it now, and I'm petrified of getting into a nursing home and having some fucking swishy X-Gen fucking weirdo fucking wiping my ass because I can't anymore.
Right.
It's like, oh, Jesus, just kill me.
It's like, is this what my life boiled down to?
Yeah. In the end, I got an X-Gen guy that it's not male or female wiping my ass. No, thank you. I'll just fucking eat a bullet. Ugh. I think we're doomed.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree.
Yep.
All right, well, let's play a couple of tunes and we'll come back.
All right.
Let's see here. Since we're kind of talking about the kind of the doom and gloom a little bit, I think that probably one of my favorite songs that's off of a very, not one of the more popular albums from this band. Of course, I'm talking about Dokken.
Okay.
And it comes from their Long Way Home release.
Okay.
And it's called Sunless Days.
All right.
So let's play a little bit of Dokken. We'll come back. We'll do some more stuff. Join us in the chat room if you're listening to us live over there at Chat and Kill. Chatandkill.com. Just type that out and join us with any of your social media sign-ins and be a part of the nonsense that goes on in there.
Excellent.
All right, here we go. It's Dockin' with Sunless Days exclusively here
on your classic metal show.